Okay, so I just finished watching SmackDown, and typically what I would do is I would get on here and I would give you guys pretty much like a review and a score and pretty much what I thought about the night as a whole. And tonight, I don't want to do that. I want to do something a little bit different. I simply want to talk about one story in particular that I believe is, if not the best story in all of WWE right now, it's gotta be top three minimum. Like, and this is one of those stories that's been brewing for quite some time, over over a year at this point. I'd say a year and a few months, maybe about 15 months at this point. And I think that it's just getting started, and I am here for it, and I am excited about it. And that is Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. This story, to be such a mid card story, is amazing. It's just four guys, really just two guys, but it's four guys, and they're not doing anything special other than just telling a story, and that's it. So obviously, we go back last year when Solo is the tribal chief and he's doing his whole thing with Roman and all this stuff. Solo brings in Jacob as an enforcer type, and they destroy Paul Heyman, and they go around, they try to, basically take over the WWE, with the Ulafala and all this stuff. And ever since Jacob won the U.S. title, there's been this weird underlying thing with Solo and Jacob, right? As you guys have seen it, of course. I'm just kind of I want to kind of give a little bit of backstory for people who may not have seen everything. And so now you got Jacob and Solo kind of low key going at it for the last 3 months ish. It's very subliminal, but at Money in the Bank, it officially becomes physical, which was awesome. Still no fight. Still, it was just one move, but they've built this up for so long that now that we're finally here, it's starting to take over the WWE. At least in my opinion, as far as the stories go, to the point where Damian Priest came out, called out Jacob, and they said, "Get out of the way. We're gonna just scrap the fact that he even inserted himself into this, and let's just move that somewhere else." Right? Which I thought would be an amazing rivalry. But this Solo versus Jacob rivalry is just next level. And so now that we're here, I think that there's so many ways to go with this, right? After tonight, especially with Jimmy getting involved and JC getting involved. Like, does this turn into a tag team? Where does Jay fit into this? Does Roman come back, and how does he fit into this? Are we setting up everything for when Roman comes back, and is Roman gonna know how to respond to Jacob and Solo not getting along anymore? And does this continue to the world championship levels, to the undisputed level? Do we see Jacob Fatu as a world heavyweight title holder, or does it stay a mid card rivalry and end at Night of Champions? Right. I think that things are just getting started. I think that we haven't even began to see what Jacob can do in the WWE. I think that he has a lot of untapped potential, and reason why is because he's one of the only guys in the WWE right now that are willing to genuinely get their hands dirty. We have a lot of heels right now that are all essentially doing the same thing. They come in, they'll do like a disqualification, they'll say some funny jokes, or they'll, just talk bad about someone, or they'll kick someone in the nuts or hit someone with a title, and it's very like bland, but they're not willing to let themselves be crazy like Jacob will, which is why we fell in love with Jacob when he was just the enforcer guy, right? So now that he's this main character, I don't really care which way he goes. He can be a heel, he can be a face. We've just fallen in love with the character as a whole because he seems literally like all gas, no brakes. Like he genuinely seems like the character he's trying to portray. And a lot of other characters, I feel like they are acting where Jacob feels like that's really him. And I think that Solo does a really good job of also doing the same thing as himself as well. Obviously, it's not the same, style of character. They're totally different. But I think that Solo is doing a great job bringing out this version of Jacob with his storytelling and with his charisma and the way that he is on the mic as well. I just think it's so perfect. And then with them also being like real family and part of the bloodline and all this stuff, I think it's just awesome. Honestly, this is the best story in my opinion in all of the WWE right now. I know we got John Cena; he's about to retire with Ron Killings and CM Punk and Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and all these people, but the story is nowhere near. Again, the story is nowhere near Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, and so I'm not sure where this is going to go from here. Again, I don't know how they're going to spin this all out. I don't know if they're going to take the title away from Jacob because, you know, he has JC. I don't know if Jimmy comes out. Obviously, I think that we're going to definitely get, JC come out and we're going to get Jimmy come out. But does that mean Jay comes out? Does that mean um, Tongaloa and Tama comes out? Like, what does this actually mean for the bloodline? And where does this go post Night of Champions? And is this all to build up Roman coming back for SummerSlam? That's what I hope. I really hope that this is a build up on one side for Roman, and then obviously with Cody and John and all that stuff. I hope that that helps Roman come back as well. But we'll see. But in this video, I just want to talk about that because that is something that I think is getting slept on right now. Is the Jacob versus Solo Sikoa story, and that is the best story in the WWE right now. So, with that, catch you guys on the next one.